one that, based on the results that happen here, the bottom team, so we're looking at Bro, we're looking at DRX, KT, potentially Hanwha, will just not be in our next stage of the tournament, depending on what happens. So for Group Baron, looking to bounce back here with DNS's win, if they take the upset, would change the course of what happens for the rest of this event. So here we go, game number 1. Let's see if Malphite continues to be prioritized here, because I was surprised at how much he was banned yesterday.
And then when we saw him, it was like, what is going on? Until that one big team.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, this is
okay.
pretty weak, except that one time where they had the Wombo combo, yes.
It helps that all 4 of them kind of stood on top of each other, and the Malphite was able to press his R button at very close range where nobody could flash. But regardless, Malphite is still pretty strong for that ultimate from the jungle. But we're still going to see, you know, the usual suspects here banned away, except Malphite so far. Jace, Varus taken off the table.
Yeah, Varus is so flexible right now. His ability to be played in solo lanes. So just do not want to let that one through. Might be banned for the entirety of the series, especially both of these AD carries on the cards today. We'll see if that Malphite is banned here. They did opt for second pick here, DN Supers, so is going to be first pick to BNK after this final ban. So will it be Malphite? Will it be, I don't think it's going to be either the Azir or the Orianna, so those will be traded. If you take the Azir as BNK for Vikla, you have to know that the Nocturne Orianna combo is in waiting on red side for the Supers. So a heavy cost for that, and they will opt for it anyways. I don't think that's necessarily what you have to play as the DN Supers, but it has been one of the most common responses.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good shout. There's still a lot of strong stuff here in game 1 of a Fearless Best of 5. But Orianna Nocturne is right up there in terms of duos that you can pick.
Here's the other one. Yeah, the Jarvan is the second best ball carrier, great engage. A little bit more power in the early game, can actually gank reliably, whereas Nocturne relies on level 6 most of the time. We've seen some niche scenarios where that has not been the case, and he's actually gotten stuff done in mid or bottom lane. But generally speaking, the Jarvan is a lot more powerful early, despite the ease of combo for the Nocturne. And this is a very common response to Xin Zhao, but instead going for the classic
he is here.
copy pasta.
Yeah, Malhouse isn't with us today, but a little shout out to him from BNK Furex, one of the teams he always supported back in the Live Sandbox days.
Yeah.
Talking about how the 2022 roster was one of the best and stuff like that. But looks like we're just going to get a Vi in the jungle. Also pretty top tier.
Pretty strong. Does limit the viability of a lot of scaling carries here for Duckdom with a draft like this. See what he decides to opt for, as they will have the counter pick for the Renekton. Could go for the Kennen, but that's kind of fallen out of favor quite a bit. And instead, we'll try to get this high prio Yunara pick, which is not extremely safe, but safer than a lot of other AD carries with her dash in ultimate into the Vi to buy some space.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good call because you get priority on your AD carry, and even if they ban 2 top laners away, you can pick, you know, some sort of tank that can deal with the weak side of the top side and provide a front line alongside of Jarvan to have the damage dealers of Yunara and Orianna, which should be more than enough damage with the hyper carriness of Yunara, especially in this meta. So kind of like how they've set themselves up.
Still want to have a punishing lane here. Might see the Alistar ban and trade. Alistar also a great ball carrier for the Orianna. And, you know, the Bard ban makes it a little bit easier to get through lane. It's been one of the strongest pairings for the Yunara. Even though the win rate on Alistar has been quite low, I do think that it's still quite powerful right now. Seems like the most safe ban. The Gnar was another one I thought of. This Gnar has kind of really risen in priority throughout the second week of LCK Cup, and now moving into Super Week here, we're like, okay, this pick is back. It's dealing with a lot of our strong bruiser top laners quite effectively.
Yeah. I think it's the most common response we see to the Renekton, so I think it's a very good ban, as Ezreal also going to be taken off the card, so don't want to let Diablo have that. Diablo has played a lot of Lucian as well, so I do wonder if they'll give that a look.
Yeah, Lucian could be quite strong here. Lulu, another pick that works really well with this draft here for the Supers. Even though it doesn't really give you hard engage, Wild Growth empowers the Jarvan engage and helps you win lane and makes the Yunara safer into the Vi. So that's something they could consider here. for sure. Maybe not in this spot, but if they don't take it here, it might be taken away from them. So they have a tough call here whether they want to counterpick or grab that prio support. They will get the Lulu. So I actually like this better because now you kind of feel like your bottom lane is super safe. You've got a strong combo with your Orianna. You have additional engage for your Jarvan. And you can see Diablo's not too happy about having to lane into this Lulu. It is super frustrating. They don't have the Bard available either. And I think the Supers have set themselves up really nicely in this draft so far.
Yeah. A big fan of this DNS draft so far. And Diablo's smile did not look like a happy one. It's weird to say it, but he was kind of frustrated. Maybe
Lucian Nami, Yunara Lulu.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it goes, right? We always come back to square one here at the LCK, and Lucian Nami is back, and it makes sense. You know, this is right in Diablo's wheelhouse. He's going to go from that.
I think they had two great options here. They could either go for the Scion to just have a great front line and some additional setup and engage, or they could have gone for something crazy aggressive and scaling to say, look, we're really going to outpace you later on and go for like a gangplank or something like that. Not really Dudu's favorite, but I think the Scion really fits the bill here. In terms of picks that you get in terms of S tier, I feel like the Supers got everything they want in this. They utilized red side incredibly well. They still managed to get the counter pick for the top lane while also getting the priority Lulu, as well as getting the Orianna combo in the jungle because the Azir went over. I think that Diablo is an incredible Lucian player, and this composition explodes to the mid game here for BNK, and that is their playstyle. We mentioned already they have an identity. It has been clear since this org really joined the LCK, and that has remained true across multiple rosters. And because they are the stronger team, I want to give them credit and say, I think they can pilot this, I think they can pull this off. But if I took the nameplates off, I'd feel like the Supers really were the winners of this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are definitely some power picks and some nice ways to get their comp going as well. It's very aggressive. It can make stuff happen off of 1-2 items. So I feel like they still have ways to win this game for sure. But I do agree with you that the synergy in the DNS draft does look a bit better, maybe a whole lot better actually. So definitely good stuff from them, but it looks like we're ready to hop into game number 1 of BNK versus DNS. All right, game 1 as we hop into this best of 5. A lot of people in chat are always like, is it a best of 5 today? Why did the format change? This is called Super Week, where we do best of 5s between relatively evenly matched teams in hopes of making fun best of 5s. And then, of course, starting next week, we get right into play-ins and then playoffs here at the LCK Cup. So
it's definitely a top 3 question I've seen in chat this week, alongside what happened to Otacon and where's Faker.
Well, if you go to YouTube chat, that's definitely a thing. Yeah. Good old where's Faker. I do wonder how this game is going to go. You know, how aggressive is BNK going to be? Because it's been a lot of old LCK action, which is lack of action. Not a lot happening. Bro and brew, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of jungle babysitting happening in the bottom lane, where we just have a 3v3 for a little while, and then no one really dies, and no one really builds a massive lead, which I think is pretty normal considering how quickly AD carries get money in this meta with the role quest. I am most curious about what the mid game looks like here, as we will see an aggressive play from Diablo level 2, getting a heal. Well, I'm looking for the mid game explosion here for BNK, right? First item Lucian, the Vi engage is set up with the Renekton. You know, I'm talking about like Herald, second Dragon fight. That's where this team needs to pull ahead. In lane, Diablo is a psychopath and will continue to just aggressively trade.
It's very true.
I mean that as a compliment, by the way.
Yeah. It's something you see pretty common on Korean fan signs where they say crazy in Korean, but then underneath in parentheses it says positive.
Yes.
A positive way of saying they're crazy. And that is very true. I mean, that's part of what makes him so good, is that he's just so proactively looking to take aggressive trades and generally has the hands to win those trades. Whereas a lot of players in pro, especially in the LCK, will just kind of, you know, handshake or just play to their win conditions and stuff like that. Diablo isn't about that. He's like, I'm just trying to fight.
Yeah, Diablo's the kind of guy who says you miss every shot you don't take. And he takes all of them.
Yeah. That's why he has a lot of fans, even, you know, before he kind of declared that he was actually a really strong AD carry, even before he was showing the good stuff. People really liked him for his aggression.
I personally am a huge fan of his Ezreal in particular, as this will be a bit of an interrupt. I like his Ezreal because he has showcased such a massive ceiling on this champion. I appreciate the ban that we saw from the Supers in this first game for it. We saw his you know, build that he went with last time, the Endless Hunger, and just basically have an insane cooldown reduction and doing everything that is possible to do with Ezreal, and hitting every single skill shot and playing aggressively without using his E, and then using his E to you know, avoid a skill shot and going further is maybe something was going to happen here. Closer has been really putting the pressure on in this lane.
Yeah, you could see he's got Vikla low, but unfortunately he kind of ran out of mana, which leaves you in a rough spot where you don't really have the ability to continue to trade. So Vikla's actually going to stomp his back as well. You could see Closer wanted to get some of that mana back. Sion not going to have a fun time early on, but eventually, hopefully, for his sake, he just becomes a brick wall. Doesn't really care too much about the Renekton.
Yeah, the ward is up there in the top river, so he can very easily push up this far with full information about whether Pyosik would come over there or not. Obviously knowing that Pyosik took the top scuttle. Barrier employed.
Yeah, he's getting in there once again. The heal also going to be utilized here.
Don't think that's
BNK.
What they wanted is Vikla.
Now Vikla is maybe just dead, but look at Raptor, the perfect time he gets there to save his mid laner and save, more importantly, Vikla's flash.
That was incredible timing there from Raptor. Quite the intercept. Pyosik could have tried to sacrifice himself there, but it would not have been worth, considering both mid laners have their teleports, and just an extreme risk to go for it. Raptor just saves the play, saves his mid laner's life and flash. And now, with the control they have on the bottom side with that kind of poor trade that happened earlier with the barrier, going to be able to start this dragon off. They have full prio down there. They have top side control as well, and get the favorable teleport in mid to even grab a plate. BNK's early game working incredibly well thus far.
Yeah, I mean, you said it before, they have a personality as a team. They like to be proactive, and even from behind, sometimes they do it a little bit too much and get themselves into trouble. As Raptor, he actually had 2 smites for that first dragon. He desperately wanted to take it early on in hopes of rolling a good Drake so that they can really snowball this game off of their mid game. So really does feel like BNK, not only do they have an identity, but they know exactly what it is, and they want to play around it as much as possible.
Pyosik will come over here and exert dominance on the scuttle. The worst part about playing jungle is when you have to use your ability and then you can't interact with the other jungler. And that Pyosik's like, well, saw you charge an IQ. I think I'll take the scuttle crab and clear that vision. The game plan here for BNK is to get incremental advantages until you hit that big mid-game spike when your first items start to come through. And thus far, the mid lane was going very well for Closer, but otherwise kind of everywhere else. Incredible leads here, and now after that failed gank in the mid lane, Vikla has stabilized, got his teleport off, he has ult now. It's a lot safer. Still down in farm a little bit. You can see the gold lead there to Closer, but nothing to really write home about. And it's not been a very boring early game either, despite the lack of kills. We've seen some real aggression here. Diablo still has his barrier. This is something that Duckdom and Peter just have to, until that barrier's back up for Duckdom, play around, play defensively, so this prio is, in the short term, permanent. That's probably not the word to use, but it's going to be this way for a little while.
Now.
Permanently for a little bit.
Not forever, but just a little bit permanent.
It's medium term permanent.
Oh, man.
It's like you can get a tattoo removed, but there are consequences.
Yeah. Oh, level 6 maybe? No, he's just going for an aggressive trade. I thought he is very close to level 6, actually. Diablo getting low. He has to flash away. Finally gets it, but just dies instead. And the calculation was just simply not there.
Duckdom's barrier is back. It should be a double.
There's no way that Kellen gets anything, and the double comes through. Oh, man, that's real bad. That's when the aggression does not pay off.
I think just miscalculating his level 6, right?
Yeah.
Like, he must have thought that he was going to hit it as he went in for that, so would have been able to drop the culling, because without the culling, he does not have enough damage into the Yunara that has her Q stacked. Like, that's the thing about Yunara in lane, especially when she has a Lulu, is she kind of wins a lot of exchanges. She presses Q, and there's the polymorph. All the damage is gone in polymorph, and Duck Dom does massive amounts of damage while that Q is running. Gets the flash follow there, even with a great bubble here from Kellen. And the Duck Dom doesn't have his barrier right now, but ultimately doesn't even really need it. Flashes here to make sure he gets the kill on the Lucian, gets the second there. So this is a big problem for the lead of BNK, now kind of washed away.
Yeah, it is definitely a big problem. You need that Lucian to be online, to be hitting his spikes as aggressively as possible, winning trades, putting the Yunara behind. Instead, we get the exact opposite, and they're going to love that. As, yeah, they went super aggressive right before Diablo hit level 6. They hit that melee minion, and they must have assumed that that would have been enough, but he was just like a sliver away. Like one ranged minion would have been enough.
Oh, this could even get worse here, although...
Yeah. Junglers doing some babysitting, I suppose.
Might see Pioshik look for Vikla here, but Vikla has flash and ult. We may lose both of those tools.
Oh, Vikla's running right into him. There's the flash, there's the dash. Pioshik is still going to use his Cataclysm to force that.
I think that's a fair exchange there for DNS. Happy with that trade. And now Vikla will be flashes for a potential follow-up gank. Closer did not use his ult. So still has that for some additional pressure, and that's going to be a back. And now Closer can further that CS lead again here. Play dimension went over to Vikla earlier, but he will not maintain a gold lead after that gank. A lot of measured aggression in this early game on both sides, but I think the failed all-in from Diablo is kind of the consistency versus the aggression we were talking about. It's just kind of like the caster narrative coming true right before our eyes.
That is the way it goes generally, as we do have Raptors starting up the grubs. And this dragon is also about to spawn in 40 seconds. I felt like they were trying to, you know, really go for all the dragons, try to stack them up as quickly as possible, but I do wonder if he'll be able to get over there.
That's
challenge it.
My man who had his best individual year building Luden's first, by the way. Instead of going for Blackfire Torch, like cowardly Orianas, who don't want to do the big boom boom.
Like every other Oriana.
I actually like to see the Luden's first, especially when you have a draft like this with the Jarvan setup, and it is going to help you with your trading early as well.
Yeah, and you're the sole AP source, essentially, so you really have to do some good damage. There aren't a lot of tanks on the other side, but you do want to make sure you cut through the health of the Renekton and the Vi at least, and the healing, of course, of the Nami. So here comes Raptor once again, and he is here for the dragon after getting the grub. So this is what I was looking for, to see just how aggressively he'd be trying to take these objectives, and it looks like he will get it.
Lots of vision in the brush for DNS in the bottom lane, really making sure that he does not get a pass down there to come over and make something happen, but they're not going to be able to stop him from taking this dragon right now. It will be double dragon.
Duck Dom stepping up right behind those very weak minions in front of Lucian with culling is very dangerous. That smite also a bit dangerous, and it is Chemtech Soul, which it's not the worst for this comp, but it's something we always talk about, that they were trying to get probably the Hex Tech, you would imagine.
Yeah, it won't really hurt that they also get the individual stats from both of these initial elemental dragons as well for this comp. I think this is pretty good for Lucian, Vi, Renekton. Renekton, I think, going to be the biggest winner of the Chemtech Soul for sure, but would have liked something like Hextech, you know, given the amount of resources committed to this. But it's not like DNS were getting big objectives on the other side. They ended up with 0 out of 3 grubs as well. So all 3 objectives going to BNK with this comp that is strongest in its early to mid game. So feeling pretty decent. You know, could have been better, like you say, but at least it wasn't Ocean Soul. I think you would probably really hate that.
Yeah, I think that probably would have been the worst role. And on the side of DNS, you know, we talked about BNK and their win conditions and how they're playing to them very nicely. I do feel like DNS are doing that as well, as Slurkle is going to miss, and that means that Diablo can just walk this one off. But it's very clear that DNS are not trying to fight early. Outside of, obviously, when Diablo forced them to fight early, and they got a double kill on their Yunara, but especially after that, looking for not too much else, although the ult will come in here, as now Vikla flashless and in a really rough spot. There's really nothing that Raptor can do. He went in for the play, but the fact that Pyosik was there just makes it another kill for DNS.
Yeah, and this makes sense if you know the enemy jungler somewhere else. Meanwhile, down here, if you know the enemy jungler isn't there, it makes sense, but remember, Vikla does not have flash, so when he goes for that play, if Closer flashes it, and his jungler is there, you don't have any play anymore. And you already used your dash aggressively, and you're just dead. So all in failing again here for BNK in this early game, and DNS are really running away with this.
So Raptor is going to get the red buff. The question is, does he get out alive afterwards? He's going for the Orianna, and there's the disengage cone. And yeah, we saw some really bad disengage cones yesterday, so that one didn't affect me that much.
Pyosik had flash. I thought maybe he was going to try to do something crazy there, but I think they're pretty happy with the end result. Yeah, that was a really cool setup from Raptor. I know you hate when I, break down the disengage cone, but he did, use the ultimate to taxi towards it and get away. It was like not a freebie. As speaking of freebies, after Closer flashes this, Vikla cannot get over the wall. And it is a freebie given over to Closer. And Raptor ultimately still gets his red buff, gets away. But it does feel like that's kind of the end of the good news right now.
Yeah. I think just the fact that DNS are 2K gold ahead this early on is really good news for them. We saw that Duckdom hit his Kraken Slayer pretty early before Diablo was able to finish his first item and was taking very aggressive trades down there. So now about 1,000 gold ahead is Duckdom already in this game. And now Diablo trying to go aggressively again, but instead he's just kind of dying. And Kellen's like, I'm trying to heal you as much as I can, buddy, but Duckdom and Peter are winning this 2v2.
Yeah, the good old Imperial Mandate Nami just doesn't hit like it used to in these trades. And he went for Stormrazor. And, okay. This is an interesting situation.
Yeah, Cullen comes in, but a lot of it actually shielded. So Duckdom pretty okay with that. And look at the damage he's doing to Kellen as well.
Yeah, at this point with Kraken Slayer, you're going to out DPS unless the burst is there. And with the polymorph for this Lulu, it's so hard to actually make it happen.
It's really on a knife's edge, this trading here in the mid lane. You could see that Pyosik was right there with Cataclysm as well and Flash. So everybody just trying to take aggressive trades. Now, Raptor and Vikla are going to start this Rift Herald.
Yeah, the Rift Herald is going to be their 4th objective of the game if they do secure it after this trade. So you can tell the game plan is trade aggressively, look for objective, and they are looking for it.
All right, Pyosik going to miss the flag and drag, and we got a TP coming in from both sides, but Duckdom's not there yet, so at least they are able to push the team off, as that combo is not the one we want to see, and now Closer is just dead on the right side of this fight, and that's going to be a second kill as well, and a Pyosik and BNK. They're just kind of letting DNS fall on their face, and they're picking up the wins.
I understand the idea about trying to fight for the objective and not giving over a 4th one here to BNK. They ultimately do, while also giving over 2 members, but trying to set up the Scion ult with Orianna was a bit optimistic at best. And Pyosik also unable to really find anything here. Takes a ton of damage. The Nami ultimate is wasted, but watch the try. Yeah. This one was not it. Closer's also isolated himself completely on the other side of the fight.
Also, I was watching Pyosik. He was being chased by Clear, and he was desperately flashed away, flagged and dragged into the pit, tried to hit the Iron Smite, but just died right before it, and just zero impact, essentially. It was a very desperate kind of force.
I think when your Yunara is 2-0, it's really rough to give the Herald, but sometimes you got to make that call, and they just were not willing to, and that really stings, as looks like they are going to lose some plates here on the top side in exchange for their first Dragon of the game here. Individual Chemtech Dragons will feel okay for DNS because they have the Orianna, but at the end of the day, yeah, that's true. At the end of the day, though, I still think getting plates for your Azir after that last exchange, plus nearly getting the mid tower, and nobody's home down here either. And so I don't really think that DNS feel too good about the solo Chemtech Dragon when they're losing everywhere else. Pyosik maybe can defend his buff. Actually doesn't have smite, so never mind.
So he just kind of left. I thought he realized that the red was still up and he may have, you know, gotten in there, but he just kind of went to his Krugs instead and missed it entirely. And Raptor's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll take it then.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because he came back. Yeah. I thought he was just like, oh, I don't have smite, I guess I can't get this. And then he left and then returned, but a lot of errors here suddenly, and now BNK back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and Kellen is taking the brunt of this damage. He is going to flash and then die, but here comes Vigla looking for the sweep, catches two. Duckdom, though, kiting it out pretty nicely. Does get queued by Raptor, though, and that is enough CC for Diablo to pick up that kill.
Hard to quantify who really won that exchange, but I think I'm going to go with BNK. They get the mid turret right afterwards, and it's a kill for Duckdom. He picks up his Fiend Hunter bolts from it, but I mean, Clear is also just straight up alone, continuing to build a massive experience lead over his opposition there on the bottom side as well. This is cool and all, like I really like the attempt here, but you kill Kellen. Wild Growth has to be employed. This just gives Vikla all the agency in the world. And even though he doesn't hit Duckdom initially, ends up getting a ton of value in a result. Duckdom is large enough to trade one back, so it feels okay, and their composition is scaling, right? But BNK really showcasing, I think, a lot better coordination when it comes to these really scrappy fights.
Oh, yeah. I think that's putting it lightly, Wolf, but you're hitting the nail on the head for sure. That, you know, DNS, I gave them credit. I thought, you know, they were taking it slow. They understood where their bread was buttered and how they had this very fed Yunar, and they were able to scale. But instead, we did see some big aggression that did not pay off. And BNK will love that. Have a couple of Drakes and 1,000 gold in the lead. Duckdom is still extremely strong, so this hasn't really gone anywhere. But Diablo's caught up a little bit, and the whole team of BNK obviously is caught up in a big way. And as you mentioned as well, the side lane beginning to be a problem for DNS.
Yeah, he's half a level up. Thought he was actually further ahead than that, but still picks up Shojin on the back. Has a significant farm advantage over Dudu right now. It's really about these next few objectives here. That's going to be the longevity for BNK coming through to where they pick up a big enough lead, because 1,000 gold right now is not enough to say they've really got full control, even though they have a lot of map control. And it's, you know, I think gold leads them in fake, as KT really showed us last week.
Yes.
But a gold lead this small means less than the vision that comes with it here for BNK, right, and how they've been able to play the map. And what I see with my eyes, and I think what you're picking up, what we kind of just briefly discussed, is do we trust DNS to play this game out based on what we've seen so far? Sometimes it's not about the goal, it's not about the scaling. If you cannot muster a team fight with the tools you have, and even though it was an amazing draft, the execution has been a little bit poor here outside of getting some freebies in the early game. So let's see what happens when we get to this next Dragon fight here in 90 seconds. If they can hold their own there, if they can pilot the Jarvan flag drag Orianna ball, can look a lot better for them.
Yeah, DNS just simply have not passed the eye test yet so far in this game number one. And, you know, imagine if Diablo didn't go super aggressively right before level 6. Like, this could have been a very one-sided mid-game to the side of BNK, and I think it probably should have been. But, you know, they're still spiking pretty hard. We got 2 items for Renekton, for Azir, 2.5 for Diablo. So definitely still very strong and still looking to fight. When you see that they were looking for more gold instead of that Chemtech drape because they know that the individual ones are fine. When you really want to spike now.
Yeah, when you have the Sork Pen tier 3 boots, and we might have Pioshik going in, so wait a second, but you have tier 3 Sork Pen boots and you're going for Shadow Flame and Ludens as your build, you need to hit the combo, right? It needs to happen. And if you miss it, like we saw with the Scion earlier, then your build means nothing, and you're not doing as much with your extended Qs. You don't have as many of them if you went for, you know, the Boots of Lucidity and the Blackfire Torch build. So it is kind of a make sure that ball gets carried to where it needs to go kind of situation here. And the proof hasn't been there yet. And now they don't have a lot of map control, right? Again, that the gold lead means less than the lack of vision, the lack of prio on this Dragons. They're setting a potential trap, though. Diablo going way up.
Diablo is not scared of anything, as we can see clearly here. Just going to run straight into them, take a bunch of damage, but he knows he's got backup with the Raptor there. As Dudu is going to TP in, we are going to have this fight for the Chemtech Drake. It looks like Pioshik is going to spot Raptor. And at the end of the day, you know, the healing of the Nami comes in, and Pioshik is still at half health, and maybe even less. As Viglet's coming on over, Clear is a monster right now. The Polymorph comes in onto him. Look at the damage already. A massive sweep, going to catch 2. Lulu, and down will go the Lulu. As now DuckDom trying to kite this one out, but again, it just feels like he's the only one doing anything here on the side of DNS. As DuckDom, he is not going to provide his own front line, goes down immediately. Down goes the Scion, and BNK are really crushing him now.
Yeah, that might have been the backbreaker there in the mid lane. Gold lead moving up to 3,500. Even though DuckDom wasn't caught by the aggressive play there from Vikla, just so many of his frontliners were, and he's just not able to kite it out and play it alone. And it's a numbers game they can't win. Because Pyosik is really the one who eats the brunt of the damage here. The polymorph is used onto the Renekton. That buys some space here for DuckDom. If he gets stunned there by Clear, it is all over. There is like nothing they can do. Instead, he gets Wild Growth and tries to kite it back and then push back through. But now he's like, Closer's used his buttons. He went for the burst Orianna. I cannot actually do this anymore. He still steps too far forward and dies. And that is the Dragon. That is the turret taking a ton of damage there, as we do have a pause. But I'm sure this will be resolved soon.
Surely.
Surely.
It's not like when pauses happen with Wolf, we get these long drawn out.
Is this a Diablo spill?
Yes.
He was too locked in. That's a Diabloism I can get behind. When you're so locked in that you spill your cup.
This is actually good news, because as long as, you know, it's a spill that can be cleaned up, it's something real worldy. It's not like, oh, you know, there was some weird bug and we have to get like refs involved and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a very like tangible, real world. Like you can physically see that it's fixed right now.
We're basically done. You know, like we might get him a new mouse pad because that looks a little.
Might have to dry a little bit more, but I mean, you can when the computer wizards have to go in there and we have to go through Chrono Break. You can't see it.
I swear he just smelled his mouse.
Well, you got to see if it's got coffee on it or whatever. That's water, I think, though.
It's water. Water doesn't have a smell, Wolf. Maybe it's something else that's, you know, clear.
I mean, it could be like carbonated water that has a slight like lemon or a lime flavor to it, I suppose. Either way, this will be resolved shortly, as we mentioned, just a second pass on the dry. I'll take this pause over somebody saying they need to go to the bathroom any day.
Absolutely. Or any kind of like League of Legends pause, because those, they can get a little...
Now, if you spill again, though, you can't spill twice. You get
Wolf
one
only gets
spill. You only get one spill per
for the whole best
day.
of 5? Or,
yeah, for the whole best of 5.
All right.
You spill twice, we might lose a ban. That's not in the rules, by the way. That's in the Wolf rule book, which has not yet been implemented. I'm looking for, like, by 2030.
He's still lobbying for this. We all tell him it's not going to happen. But Wolf, you know, can't stop him. Just like you can't stop Diablo. Man is a monster. How often do you think you spill things on a, you know, weekly basis?
Me?
Yeah.
I can't
like drinks and stuff.
I can't remember the last time I spilled something. The last time my cat spilled something was probably about 2 months ago.
Which one?
Bori.
Oh, it's always Bori.
Bori has this thing where, I don't know if she's getting a little bit older, just has a little bit less spatial awareness of her tail knocking objects off of my small table. I have a small side table where my controller and my phone sit, and she's
sometimes cats do that on purpose sometimes, though, right? They're kind of like spreading out their existence to like take their space, you know? I don't know.
I think Bori is just, she's just not paying attention. She's knocking over my coffee cup.
I guess it depends on the cat. Yeah.
So we are going to get his mouse mat swapped. We have gotten the update, so... Because... Let's take a look at how this happened.
Replay of the spill.
Oh, a near save as well.
Yeah, you could see him saying pause there as well. Saves the mouse immediately.
It happens.
It does. I
think
I sometimes spill stuff at my desk.
I think players having the ability to drink liquids during a match is absolutely necessary. Maybe we could implement like a sippy cup or something. So like some sort of non-spill cup would be the only thing we could really do to prevent this type of thing from happening. So I can empathize with them a little bit. Everyone spilled something on their keyboard, on their mouse pad. So
yeah, I think it's some good merch we could also sell. You know, the LCK Sippy Cup for every gamer out there that doesn't want to have to deal with potential spills. Just get the LCK Sippy Cup.
Oh, I got the update. He did not have the lid on. I did not see that.
I thought I saw the lid. The lid like went flying. And then he tried to like put it on.
That's afterwards. What I thought, but I don't know. I got the update on the prompter. There's no lid.
Maybe production needs to take a look at that replay again. We need to know.
Maybe the space will break it down.
Is Diablo a lid kind of guy.
All of that pause, everything that happens, we reset to a situation where the DNS players had to wait as well for all of this while Dr. has no flash and barrier. He was killed at the end of that fight. Long respawn. They get the damage on that mid turret. I think they got one plate there. Yeah, they got one plate in the mid-inner. The soul point was taken, and their gold lead goes up to 4,000. They have side lane control, vision control. So Diablo was a little bit upset that he had to dry his mouse pad and get a new one, but I think otherwise they're feeling pretty good about the game state here, just to let everyone know. Apparently the lid was on, so yeah.
Yeah, G-Sun was incorrect. So, yeah, you know, we were paying a little bit better attention. We saw the micro mechanics of his lid on the cup. Very important. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that the pause came in right then, because before the pause, it was kind of a close game. Now, after the pause, it feels like the game is somewhat over.
I mean, just look at the minimap and look at the aggressive vision here. There is very little that DNS could do but clear waves here. And with Lucian on 3 items, soon to be 4, it looks like about halfway towards that IE, they can just do Baron. And that is, in fact, what they're going to do. Because if you try to come over here, you have no vision, you really are fighting blind here. You might as well turn your monitor off and pray. A bit facetious I'm being here, but Pyosik will come over and they do stop the Baron. But look at Clear. He's got teleport and he's taken his whole turret out, so it's just a macro play here from BNK.
You know, he has so many plates in him. Like, it's actually incredible. Oh, the burst damage is just disgusting. Duck Dom is like, well, I guess I don't get to play the game anymore. Has a giant shield, but that's a little late.
Yeah, they got Serpent's Fang, and so he's ready to cut through those anyways. And I think with this Azir, they just can do this without the Lucian, and he is going to come over here and rejoin. There's the teleport from Clear. He's going to zone Pyosik out. He can deny this blast cone.
Yeah, they saw Duckdom back, and there's just realistically no way as the anti-engage cone kind of happening there. Pyosik not able to get in the pit because of Clear. Very nicely played, actually, as Dudu kind of goes in by himself. He's just dead, and Clear is so gigantic right now. Nobody can deal with them. There's 4 people railing on the Renekton, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. I'll take down Pyosik anyway. And BNK, they get the Baron, and they're feeling themselves right now. They're going in. The Shockwave not going to do a whole lot, although Raptor is very far ahead of his team. And Duckdom has some backing now. Vikla does get the sweep and kills Peter, but immediately dies as his Azir is it's not looking so great, but neither is this game. As Diablo gets a shield, he's going to go down.
You ever just get a Baron and toss it away?
Just my God, Valdez! Out the window.
All right, so I know Degon's listening. That, my friend, is a throw. My God. All right, so they have the control of the Baron. They get the smite here. And now I can understand Clear because he's trying to zone them away. He denied Pyosik's entry. So his sacrifice here is not in vain. They kill Dudu. Now what happens next?
Cover your eyes.
What happens next is out of control. Now, Raptor, this is on him, okay? He's finding out right now about the new crit damage on 80 carries on this patch. And he does not like what he sees.
Riot did what?
The Vikla, he got Peter, but that was a really weird angle. And then the hubris on this man, okay? Consistency versus aggression, right? Not worth. And because the thing is, like, you almost get the kill, but you lose everything because of the risk you took. If he's able to clean them both up, they don't have enough damage to end the game. They may be able to get an inhibitor during the respawn timers, but instead it's a solo Baron on the Nami. By the way, I'm pretty sure the Baron power play is bugged for the old number. I think that negative number is even higher than it actually shows on the UI right now, but just hang out with Kellen and try again.
Yeah. I mean, they could have just, if this were any other team, they would not have done that, I'll tell you that. As Pyosik is going to get away for now, as Dudu's ult is blocked by his own team's Cataclysm. Diablo's just like, yeah, you know, I'm a little bit low, but who cares? As the bubble comes down, Dudu's just dead. Oh, well, maybe he's alive. And Duckdom actually does a decent amount of damage, but all this burst damage on both sides, it really is on a knife's edge sometimes, as maybe looking at the Chemtech Soul, Diablo's charging into 5 people because it's Diablo.
Yeah, maybe just take the dragon. They are doing that slowly.
Pyosik, no! You have so much to live for. You don't have to do that. There is a Lucian right there. Vikla's like, oh, I meant to dash a little bit more. As, yeah, DNS, they're just kind of, yeah, kind of like floating on a floaty in the middle of the ocean, and nobody's here to save them. As again, another shockwave not going to hit anything as Flash comes through from Clear on a duck down, but he does get away. As now,
man, somebody clipped that whole interaction. That was wild. The fact that Dudu is the one who eats the wild growth, TP's back into the fight at full health, and DNS lose the dragon, but kind of attempt to both run away, and they were like crab walking to get out. But Duckdom's like, maybe Diablo does something crazy again. Let's wait and see. Ultimately, still is going to be a win here for BNK, who do end up getting the Chemtech Soul. They get that turret, and they're still in a fantastic position in this game. I think it didn't have to be this hard, but they...
but it was a lot more fun to watch, you know?
They turned up the difficulty on this game.
Okay, Duckdom's trying to do things. But yeah, if this were any other team, this game probably would have been done already because they played really safe and, you know, whatever. But instead, we get some culture here. Diablo, he'll be fine. He's used to it. But yeah, it's taking a little bit longer. We get a lot more action. And it's been fun. As we do have a flank coming in here, Diablo going to charge in because of that. The flash on forward, but now Duckdom doesn't have his flash, and there's so many people around him. Although Raptor finally gets on top of him and takes him down. Clear also a raid boss, and it's only the Orianna to do damage. This time, though, the Shockwave is going to hit 3. As Closer does quite a lot. Vikla getting low. Dudu going in, providing that front line, and that is a double kill for Closer. It didn't have to be this hard, Wolf.
The polymorph value in this fight was unreal. And I think Diablo, we saw his expression when the Lulu got locked in. And man, I don't know if he... when I watched him, like, I think we know why. But I'm like, maybe we don't, because he keeps going in to polymorph range to try to look for these all-ins.
Maybe he forgot.
Gets hit by everybody, but this time the shockwave is good, right? Like, Duckdom cannot carry the fight, Clear's on the flank. This shockwave hits 3, but Charged Q does not. Closer gets that kill, and then from here on out, another polymorph goes down. Vikla just cannot offer any more damage. Clear is too low, no longer has ult, and they're hanging on. You know, I mean, the gold lead has actually gone down. Duckdom is out-damaged Diablo now, and this Orianna, like I said, you get one big R button, and it was the big one that was able to save them in this one. Not to mention Polymorph, which was pretty strong. It's Diablo's natural enemy. He's like, I'm going to use all my hands. And Polymorph's like, you're a little pony. He's like, but my mechanic. You're a pony.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was actually.
You're a pony. Deal with it. Accept your fate. And he really has had to. And I'm a little bit worried for BNK now. We've talked about how gold is fake. It really kind of is in games like these where they're just wild and all over the place. And there's so much culture. We can't fit everything in our tiny brains. And it just feels like, you know, BNK, they could have just won this game 10 minutes ago. But instead, you know, we might just get an Elder flip instead. Like, this is the reality we're living in. As we also have Baron spawning now, I do wonder if BNK is going to make a big play for that before the Elder spawns. You would assume so.
I think they certainly can if they can get a little bit more controlled vision around the outside of the pit. You can see there is a control ward in there that Raptor will clear now. But I think that alone into this Jarvan who has Flash is not enough to feel secure with your Baron take. You're going to want to have some layered vision around the red buff. And that's exactly what Raptor is trying to help set up right now. In fact, might even look for a flank play. Did not work out for him the last time he tried to go for the aggressive ult in. He's in the shadow instead, the pushing Azir. And this is a good macro play where they can threaten Baron while also hitting this turret. Vikla doesn't have TP, but he has enough time to take this turret out. Then they should be able to retreat here.
I like how Duckdom is the front line now. He's 4-item Lunara, 4.5, so he can just kind of, with the Lulu, with the Orianna shield, just kind of run at people and essentially 3 or 4 shot them, so everybody has to respect that if they don't have some kind of CC for him.
This could get weird.
Yeah, Raptor is just going to have to queue over the wall. The wild growth gets used.
That was a... I don't think they... don't like that. Don't think that was...
Yeah.
Everything else about that, I was like, okay, this is pretty good for DNS, but... it will be up for Elder, but there is a window here with this wave being cleared out for a potential Elder start again. As you can see, Diablo started off really well and does have the item advantage here, but it's not necessarily mattering when he gets polymorphed, when he goes for these all-ins. Needs to be very careful.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's walking the tightrope quite well.
Yeah.
So sometimes he has tried to cut cut some corners. The greed has been real. He's going to take this blue buff away.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, as long as he can go in and take, you know, short trades and not fully commit, which he does more often than not.
Yeah.
He'll be fine because he has the Nami. They have Chemtech, so they got a couple of Chemtech dragons, so it's okay. It's, again, it's a tightrope. You got to be careful. I'm not sure he knows the meaning of that word, as now Koshik going to spot them out. And this Baron has not been started.
Yeah,
so.
Wild Growth is back. Like, Clear just TP him with the ult. Oh.
Okay. Shut it down.
All right.
Go next. Yeah, okay.
Sometimes you miss every shot you don't take. Like Diablo's motto, you know?
Yeah.
They're trying to employ it. That itself might cost any chance of a comeback here for DNS. Now Duck Dom is going to have to do even heavier lifting.
It might.
Val, this is saying anything could happen.
Anything could happen, and I think BNK has proven that as well. Another disengaged cone, but this time calculated, as he does go in and has a way out. And Clear is on the flank. They want to get into that backline and take down Duck Dom, but look at all the CC. They take down the Lulu, and Duck Dom will hit the floor as well. And just like that, one flank and one play is all they need. They don't need Baron. They don't need Elder. Enough of that. They just want the action.
Diablo,
they want the kills.
Like, what? Why? He doesn't have ult, I get it, but just, like, win the game.
Chill out, bro. Like, come on.
He's got ult now.
Okay, well, Closer is going to die, and this game is over, but it didn't have to look anything like this. But it did.
All right. Clean start to the series. No accidents, no spilling of water. And a very, very good, aggressive game from BNK. 8,000 gold, the lead on Nexus Explosion. They had too much of a lead. Their comp was really strong, and Clear had an amazing game. He was always flanking. His side laning was incredible. He ended up getting 6k more damage, but that's not really what this is about. The threats that he had at the backline there were huge. And if Closer has his ult, by the way, if they didn't fail the flash ult combo right before this, that play for BNK just isn't possible because they would have all gotten shockwaved. So they know the ult is down, they know Pioshik doesn't have flash, and they're able to end the game there, but...
세게 해도 돼 이거.
나 갈게. 갈게. 오케이.
나 28초.
네, 미카엘 없어서 그냥 보자. 누나라 볼게 이거. 누나라 볼게. 연계해봐.
2초 얘들아.
누나라 노플. 일로 잡았어. 누나 잡았어.
끝내자.
현대카 보자.
이체 잡아. 나 힐 가능?
이체 잡아.
버프 있어.
안쪽으로 끝나? 안쪽으로 끝나. 이거.
어차피 끝나. 우리 하나 노플 아니야 이거?
나 가인이랑 내가 역각 잡을게 그냥 세게. 내가 몸 대줄게. 노플. 한대?